Hello everyone, Jose of Joy of Fish Keeping. These are 3 discus that I recently purchased at Discus Madness, which is my favorite place to go to in Union, New Jersey. Usually when I take a pilgrimage there, as I like to call it, I just occasionally go. I know that whenever I go there, I will see something that I like. I have been looking for a fish like this one that have mostly a white base with some of the red lines. I've seen some before that have less intense pattern with the red, more of a white background, but I have been looking for a while for the right size and so on, so I took this one. Anyway, the point of this video is to say that in fish keeping, everything is not a joy, as the name of my channel imply. Most of the time it is a pleasure, but as we all know, if you've kept fish, you know that you do have losses, whether we accidentally kill fishes unintentionally, or they just die for reasons that we cannot explain. Well, anyway, these 3 discus, they are about 5 to 6 inches. They're good sizes, so I try to match closely to some of the other ones that I have. So I've got these all 3 together. I went with one in mind, but of course 2 others came along. So anyway, what happens with these, I have them in a 20-gallon quarantine tank. I've kept as many as 4, which is has been appropriate for me. And there's some other rainbow fish that you see darting around there that are also in quarantine for the same trip. I eventually moved those to another tank once I cleared the tank of other discus that were breeding, so I made space for them. So anyway, these guys here, they have been doing fine. So they've been in quarantine. I normally quarantine for about 6 weeks, and did a water change normally, and then I noticed that the guy up there, the yellow one on top, kind of they start darting around. It was just kind of going back and forth, and I said something is wrong with this fish. Suddenly he just kind of just died. You know, I've had fish, I've seen other channels where they apparently are doing fine, and then suddenly they just dart around and they just drop suddenly, like with no warning. The other 2 guys are doing fine. When something happens, the first thing you do is you want to do, you generally do a water change, and of course test your water. I do medicate during quarantine. People do whatever they wish. He was a beautiful specimen. When I saw him, there were a few others like him. I watched him for a while, very healthy, doing well. So I decided to test the water. The ammonia was very high level, deep green. I have not seen it that green, to be honest. So what does that tell me? That I got a little bit too lax. Whenever you do any kind of antibiotic treatments, your beneficial bacteria can die off. Then you have 3 large fish in there producing waste. So if you're not careful, you don't pay attention. And so this was just him dropping in with his final movement. It's sad to see, but with all being said, I do keep check on your ammonia levels. It was sad to see this, but anyway, you never like to lose fish, and especially with your mistake. I generally, whenever I'm doing any treatment, I do treat with Safe or Prime, which will neutralize the ammonia, nitrites, and nitrates. Although you do get a positive test, there are other nitrogen compounds that do not affect the fish, but it remains active for 48 hours. So you have to read those every 2 days while you're doing treatments and while you establish your beneficial bacteria count. So I just wanted to make this video. Sad, so I don't want to show dying fish, but we all lose fish again, either because they reach the end of their cycle, either because we make mistakes, or things that we could never find out what happens. But anyway, my wife said, this is such a nice, pretty fish. It would be nice to put them in a resin. I think I put them on a freezer. I order some resin, and I'm gonna make them like a little plaque if he still looks nice after the freezing, if he retained this color. I've seen people do that before, and it was a good idea from her, so it'll be a little bit of a plaque. Yeah, I've only had him for about 2 weeks, and not a lot of emotional attachment there, but regardless, he is a pretty fish. He'll be as a plaque instead of a water. Fish loss is an unfortunate part of the hobby. This little video clip here was at one of the stores that I stopped by. I keep a mix of rainbow fish. This variety here, I primarily buy the males because of the color, but I saw these 2. It looks like mating behavior. Just thought it was interesting. I had not seen it before. Each fish has their own little dance that they do, so I just wanted to include this in this video, although it has nothing to do with the previous one. Thanks for stopping by the channel, and thanks for looking.